G'day, Stu from UAVFutures here. How is everybody going? I'm hoping the audio is coming through. I have switched over to a new streaming thing. I'm using OBS right now. So before we dive in and all that sort of fun stuff, great to see you guys here. Let's just double checking that we have some audio working and that sort of stuff. So if you could put that in the chat, let me know how we're coming through. It looks like everything's good, and fingers crossed we're not going to get any frozen cameras or issues like that. So that's what we're hoping. Johnny DRC is saying working good. We've got nice FPV as well, saying we can hear you. So absolutely, well, that's a plus straight off the bat. And I don't know if you guys heard this at the start, but one of my mates in FPV decided he would give me a buzz on Facebook right as this countdown was happening. So thanks very much there, Malice. I can see he's in the chat as well. I don't know what he was ringing up about, but I was like, this is not the time. Okie dokie. Let's see, we got, Johnny DRC. I want to say thanks so much, mate, for tuning in every week and also on my videos. So thank you very much. I see all your comments there. Great to have you. We got Nick C saying it sounds okay, and Nice FPV saying yes, we 100% heard the audio coming through of that phone call. We got Chippy Goad. He's saying hello all. We got a pretty exciting show coming up today, and I have to say you guys get me so pumped for my work day. I'm actually a little bit sick, so if you think like I'm losing my voice, it's not your imagination. Yes, it's correct. I've got a bit of a cold, and I was like, oh, we're going to see how we go. So I don't know how this stream is going to go in its entirety. It might be a little bit shorter than usual, but it was really important for me just to get here, connect with you guys. It really is the best part of my working week, hanging out with you guys, watching some fun videos, talking about mental health, and also some exciting products and things like that that are coming up. Cliff Field is saying, I finally caught one of these live. Now I can hassle Nice FPV as the way hasn't got back to me about flying is 5-inch. He's got too much power in that bad boy. So he's got a very nice little craft there. Sean Williams, we've got another Kiwi in the chat saying, love rescheduling meetings for my Monday show. So thank you very much there, Sean. I think we probably have, out of our viewers right here, most of our audience would be, we probably have some in the US, but it's crazy how many people in New Zealand actually tune in, or it seems to be a lot of my world in FPV relates to people in New Zealand. Alright, I am liking this new OBS setup. It looks a lot easier to deal with than my old previous Streamlabs one. Okie dokie, let's talk about what is coming up on the stream today. So if you're tuning in, this is what you can expect. And if I click this button, sweet, nothing has broken just yet. So we're going to be talking about fixing FPV, never flying alone again, and that's going to be a huge part. We're going to be talking about DIY FPV, and I know we've spent a lot of time talking about the builder and some of those features and the catalog, but what I can't wait to show you is something that's really, like, I'm just as excited about this next feature, which you're going to be getting some sneak peeks of that today. We're going to be talking a little bit about mental health. It's really important to me, and I think a lot of people out there who are into FPV also sometimes don't have the best mental health and they just want to connect with somebody. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. We have a blast from the past, which is going to be very exciting because I found some very old photos that I'm going to be showing you with some of the oldest drones I have, my first ever gear, the setup, what it was like. And that's like 9 years ago. You do not know how good you have it. If you have jumped into FPV, basically since we've had digital, you have no idea what it was like when we used to fly the old dinosaur crafts back in the day. Speaking about blasts from the past, we've got Drunken Bullet as well. He's saying, G'day, Stu. Sometimes making a live stream outweighs paying attention to work. Hope you feel better, mate. Thank you so much. I do feel better because you're here and everybody else is here as well. And as I was sitting here, like as I was prepping, getting things ready, I was like, man, I feel absolutely wrecked, but as soon as this went live and I can see you guys in the chat, I don't know what it is. It's just like connecting with people and being able to talk FPV with some like-minded, positive individuals, because you guys are always so positive in the chat as well. Like, it just makes me feel great. So you guys are brightening up my day as well. We've got Steve here. He's from the NC Mountains in the US. And we've got Renda saying, welcome back, everybody. Sounds like a good one today. Oh, yeah, we hadn't even finished going through. Thank you very much. ADD brain getting distracted. I do want to talk about what is the best radio on the market at the moment and some choices that you're going to have, because we've had an awful lot of radios come out recently, like with the Boxers and the Crush and the T14, the T15. So there is quite a lot to discuss. We have, of course, our Reddit review, where we're going to be seeing some of the best and worst videos when it comes to RC, and a big shout out to Stickman Steve, because, look, I shouldn't laugh at some things, and I do feel a little bit bad for laughing at, it's not really injuries, but, you know, like a guy got hit last week with a plane, with an ass, like flew it straight back into himself. You're right. Someone did say, Stu, I don't know if you should laugh at this. Yeah, you're probably right there, but I did find it amusing, and I knew the guy was okay. So that was probably where it was, I gave myself a bit of a pass right there. But we have one with some things exploding, which is going to be pretty funny. And then we need to talk about a little bit about Walksnail. They've got a new GT cam. I'm going to be talking about that. That's this bad boy right here, the GT kit. And also, I want to show you how to share Walksnail, and then finally those big features of DIY FPV that are coming to you guys that I think are really important. We got Malice, he's talking about his work. Lewis is saying, hey all, hope it's all good. Oh, he's written the same thing 3 times, so there we go. Fantastic. And Hangtime FPV is saying that FPV is therapy, and I feel like a lot of people use that. I don't know if therapy is the right word, but I completely understand your message that you're trying to say, because FPV, it is such a positive part for your mental health. I think there's an important distinction between actually going to therapy if you are struggling with mental health, and I cannot stress that enough. I went to talk to somebody when I was feeling really, really down, and I'm so glad I did, because it can be really hard. And I know sometimes when you're struggling with your mental health, the last thing you want to do is get outside, eat well, do some exercise, talk to people, be social. Like, yeah, those things, when someone says you just need to do those things, oh, that sounds absolutely almost impossible when you're really suffering. But one part I cannot stress enough is, please, if you are in a situation where you really are struggling, go and to talk to somebody about your mental health. Now, that's what we're going to start off with. A little bit about mental health here. I want to say that I did not expect to be talking about this. And it's like, it's not confronting, but and I'm more than happy to be open about how I'm feeling in mental health, because I feel like we really need that. And I'm sure it might not be you, but somebody else watching this might be like, I think it's important to see that, hey, look, other people struggle as well. I'm just an everyday person going through my experiences, and if that can help somebody else, maybe it can change their life in a small way or a really, really big way. If I can do that in any shape or form, I think it's really important. So what I didn't expect to talk about today is, like, I woke up, I've been having a bit of a cold that's been sort of coming on for the last couple of days and those sorts of things, and I jumped on the computer, I looked at my calendar, and I looked at the videos that I had, and I've been so passionate about FPV. Like, it feels like I've been reinvigorated. There is a new fire going. I cannot wait to, like, smash out FPV videos, FPV video after FPV video, just getting more people flying and talking about DIY FPV and the potential that that's having and the response from you guys. Like, everything feels so positive. Versus if I went back 6 months ago, I was a bit lost. I was a bit unsure about what I was doing with UAVFutures, and these live streams have been a huge beneficial part for me as well. So it's not just you guys watching. I love doing these. Like, I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. But it's really easy to make a plan, right? When things aren't going well, you think, oh, what am I going to do here? Okay, all right, I need to make some videos. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like, those parts are quite easy. What I found really confronting this morning was I looked at my calendar, I saw the videos, and for the first time, I thought, do I need to, like, push it back a day? Do I need, not the stream, I'm feel committed here, I feel like I have a commitment to you guys, but I was like, can I push that video back a day? And I had a chat to somebody who I trust about it, and he said, yeah, that's sort of like perfectionism, and I have a real issue with, for me, this is just in my brain, and it could be totally different for everybody else, but, like, it's easy to notice your mistakes and put some plans in to fix it. But what happens when you're doing something right? Like, you're going to work, you're making those videos, and then you need to like take a break. How do you take a break from it? How do you go from something that was meant to help you get here to then take a break? How do you not do those things that you have told yourself are positive? And I really struggled with that. And it was like, hey, can you take a break, have a sit back? How are you going to handle with those sorts of situations? And to be honest, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I have to be honest about that. And I think that's something that I want to work on in the future. I didn't feel comfortable taking a break. Now, I don't know if that's because, do I trust myself to not like take other breaks? Do I have myself accountable? There's like something that it was a little bit confronting, because I've been so focused on work and making content for you guys and sharing FPV and hitting some goals, that when it came to the time of like, you can put those goals to the side, I've been struggling with that a little bit. So I just wanted to put that out there to let you guys know, and I know what the answer is, that it is okay to take a break. I just think that I need to work through that a little bit more. So I'm going to set myself a goal to be like, okay, maybe I'll just finish the month, and then it's okay if you can have this day off or have that day off or something like that. But it was not something I was expecting to wake up this morning and sort of, it didn't just to talk about. So I don't know if you guys have any advice or anything like that. Please put that in the chat if you say, hey, here's what you could do, because it's really easy to give advice. I feel like I can offer my friends and say, here, what it looks like objectively to see on the outside, but when you're in the depths of something, or you're emotionally connected to something, or your brain is in depression or OCD or ADHD, like if your brain is not working correctly, often you need that outside sort of influence to give you some perspective. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas or anything like that. Renda is saying, oh yeah, I hear that, had that with art, and then he found FPV. Hang Time is saying, unfortunately, I think that the best time for FPV content online is over. There isn't much new stuff at the moment, and that's a shame. I think that's what's important for me too, is like what I've been doing, and it's not just about reviewing the products and those, it's just about having fun, like connecting people, sharing this passion of FPV. I don't need the newest products to have a fantastic time when it comes to this hobby, and I don't think you guys do either. And you don't need to buy new products week in, week out. I mean, stuff that. Who's got the time and money to want to do that? Unless you are like, I don't know, Bill Gates, who's like got a secretary who's going to buy all those sorts of things and say, hey, here's it all set up. That's like, get out of here. That's not who we are. We just want to have an awesome time. And even if I went back to analog and cruising around, that's you're still going to have an amazing time. Nice FPV saying, it's better to start something and improve than never start something, because if you're afraid it won't be perfect. Yes, absolutely correct. And good enough is better than not at all. And Malice Vex is saying 5 days work, 2 days off, and 2 months take a week off sunglasses. Okay, thanks very much, Malice. And Nick FPV, he's got some good advice here. So if you feel like you might be overdoing it, just don't overdo it. Just don't overdo it. And then I wish I could get this little chat icon out of the way, because that on this Streamlabs it's a little bit difficult to see. Only if you need to have a break. So thank you very much there. I do feel like I'm really passionate about making FPV content, and especially if I'm sick, I might push a video back or something, or have some time off. You are 100% correct. And Brent, most of our stuff is all analog, 10 quads and only 2 V1 DJIs. We like that old school budget stuff. Now, speaking of blasts from the past, if you are in FPV right now, you are so lucky. You've got it so good. What I'm about to show you is some of the old school, what I would call OG dinosaur gear. And I was looking for something to fix up my audio recently, and I came across this, and I was like, yeah, you guys need to see this. So what I have here are some products that are very near and dear to my heart, and I can't believe what it's like. So I have my original pair of goggles, one of my original quads. So I sort of had 2 quads right here, and we're going to be talking about these. And check this out, we also have a FrSky, back when FrSky used to be king. That's sort of fallen off definitely now. I don't even know if people still use them, but my old Tyrannus X9D. Now when it came to FPV, there really wasn't a community or anything like that. There wasn't many helpful places online, and one of the biggest things that happened to me is my wife had a relative, and their husband knew someone who was in FPV. I think his name was John. I'd have to go back, but a big shout out to him, because this guy was like, hey, I know somebody who's into FPV. He can give you some advice. And this is straight off the bat what he told me to get. And I was like, okay, I'm going to dive in on the deep end. I felt like it was an awful lot of money at the time to get these bad boys, but I could not be happier. So what we have here, these are the original Fat Sharks. Like, there is no module bay. It didn't even have this special fan adapter or anything like that. It used to come with like some dodgy, like an eye cup that you clipped over, not clipped over, but it pressed into your eye, almost like a suction cap. And these things, I mean, they were comfy, but they had a terrible field of view. They could only take a 2 or a 3S LiPo. A big one, they could only get 8 channels. So when race bands started coming out, and these were basically obsolete overnight, of course, there's no DVR. There's no on-off switch. They did have an AV in, which was quite important because I used these quite a bit with some ground stations. If I put this on the screen, you're going to see, check this out. Here's some of my original flying footage. And it was like, you don't need the best gear to have fun. I think that's going to be an important message of this. But check this out. Hopefully we don't get too many ads. Okay, I'm going to put this on the screen. And if we go full screen here, and I don't know what the music is going to be like on here, even though it's on my own video. I think it should be okay. Alright, so here we all are. This is all us getting set up. Look at me learning my editing skills. So this is going back almost 9 years as well. We've got a bunch of pilots in the air, and there is nothing better than when you are connecting with other pilots. Like, you think FPV is great, you wait till you fly around with other people. I don't know if there's some people in the chat who have never flown with other people. Like, let me know if you fly with a crew, if you fly by yourself. But I can almost guarantee that when you are flying around with friends, it just like synergizes so well. It is 100 times better just cruising around, laughing with some mates. Look at all the box goggles we've got going on right there. Here we've got some little chasers. And this is also too probably on, this isn't even on clean flight. This is on what I would call base flight, so a very, very rough version. I've got a whole video, actually, I'll put somewhere of how we went from this to the beta flight you know today. But these houses, this is all houses now if I ever went back here to this town. But yeah, just a really fun time cruising around, trying to get nice and close. I think even like an antenna on there cost, it was a VAS antenna on that craft, I can see. And that was like $50 or something. It was also very, very expensive. So not only did they fly nowhere near as good as today, they were also a lot more expensive as well. And if you crashed, there was like long shipping times. But as soon as I got flying, I was like, yeah, this is where it was at. Bit of a close call there. Malice Vex is saying flying with mates is so much better, but since I got DJI, no one can fly with me. Maybe need some more DJI mates, but yeah, that is one of the problems with DJI. And Uston is saying, is that an immersion RC vortex? It very well might be, because a shout out to a guy I used to know back then called Nick, because he got one, and I remember him telling me to tell his girlfriend at the time that he won it in a competition, not that he spent $600 or something on it. Oh, there we've got a drone stuck in the tree as well. So yeah, fun little flying spot. I thought that'd be pretty important to, pretty fun to show you some of that OG gear. And look at this for a photo. This is how I used to carry my gear around. We have this right here. So you guys think you're all really cool with some backpacks? I had like I don't even know where this case is anymore, but that's this quad. Right, this quad right here. The ZMR. I've painted the outside yellow. I've got my little batteries in there. It looks like maybe I've moved up to 4S at this stage. And also, this is one of my all-time favorite photos when it comes to me, just on my personal FPV journey. Look at that. That is my first ever order when it comes to getting into FPV. So a real blast from the past. I've got my individual ESCs. We've got an old Emax frame right here. Here's my Tyrannus fresh out the box. My Fat Sharks. Oh, that's what they were called, the Fat Shark Attitude V2s. I've bought all the different wire gauges. I've got my receiver right here. My little charger. I've laid it all out nice and neat. So many trips to like the local hardware store or those things. It was just a really, really fun time, and I had no idea we were going to be here. Like 10 years later, I'm still talking to you guys right now about FPV. I'm still just as passionate about it. I just happen to know a little bit more about it, and I just want others to have that information as well. So yeah, some really cool little blasts from the past there when I was looking for some stuff and I came across those. This radio actually was a really good radio for its time. This is probably one of the better parts, and this is where I learned the lesson too. If you are getting into FPV, and I say this time in, time out, some of the most important parts you can do, get yourself a decent radio, get yourself a decent pair of goggles, because your quad, your drone is going to change all the time. It's going to break, and I know a lot of people want to spend money on their drone first and foremost, but that is the part I would spend the least amount of money on. Getting the goggles and your radio is the critical part when it comes to FPV. It makes an absolutely huge difference. All right, I'm just going to check in with the chat. Let me know what you started flying with as well. Hunt Boom is saying, I still fly analog because it's cheaper. Yes, I think the price what's that word? The price difference, there we go, is changing a little bit though. Sean is saying, I don't understand what he's talking about right there. Excuse me. But Render's saying, compared to then, it's practically plug and play today. If you're not after every ounce of performance. Yeah, like it's crazy now. You can get a drone, a bind and fly that just works. It's like the OSD is set up. Like these craft, they didn't even have OSDs. You had no idea. We used to fly around with a timer on our Tyrannus. I've got like videos about it that would tick down depending on how it was an adaptive timer. So how much throttle you were giving would increase or speed up the timer, the countdown, to let you have a rough estimate of how much your quad had chewed through the juice. Hang Time is saying Emacs single ESCs. A big shout out to XJet. He helped me get flying as well, following along with his. Mick Molly is saying, I remember the first drones we made had no flight controllers and used heli tail rotor gyros. That sounds very scary to me. Brent's still flying with his Tyrannus QX7. Cobra Motors, DYS Motors. I remember Cobra Motors. They were the bomb. I haven't heard that name in a long time. And it looks like YouTube Videos has said, can you recommended a Pocket and it has Bluetooth for a wireless SIM. Yeah, if I'm going to plug in my Radio Master Pocket, I do just use an everyday USB cable. You can use a little something like this. So I also have this. This is like the Squid Stick, which is an ELRS receiver. You can also bind up to that if you don't want to use your user cable. Let's see. Nice FPV. Tiny Hawk is saying ready to fly kits. The goggles are the only bit I still use. The rest was garbage. Hey, I quite like the Tiny Hawk. I think that was a really fun little indoor drone. And Focus for Life is absolutely right when he's saying you get what gets you in the air. If you're not flying, what is FPV? Dealing with serious supply and quality issues. I appreciate all you do though. And Drunken Bullet is saying I'm still rocking the Audi shopping bag, mate. Plenty of room for quads in one of those. So yep, that is definitely the way I started, taking out shopping bags, and then the rest was just downhill or uphill depending on where you think about it. My wife probably is sick of hearing me talk about drones, but it was uphill for me. All right, let's move on. No, we're going to talk about what is the best radio to buy. What should you get? With so many radios on the market today, what is it? Radio Master? Should it be Jumper? Which one is going to be the right choice for you? We've got the Boxer, we've got the Crush, we've got the Radio Master Pocket, and also recently we have this one, the T15. So we've got a whole bunch of these bad boys, and I'm actually pretty excited they're coming in really, really nice colors. And first and foremost, I want to say the beauty about this choice is that all of these radios are fantastic. Like, they are so much better than what we had when we started. And if you just randomly picked one of these radios and you said to me, Stu, you can only have one of these, here's what you get for the rest of your FPV career, great. It is good enough. You don't need to break the bank, and even if you chose something like the Pocket, even if someone gave that to me, I'm still going to have an amazing time. This does more than I need for FPV, but there's a couple of differences you need to know. So first and foremost, the Pocket, it has a limited power output, so I believe it's like 350 watts that this thing can pump out. With ELRS, I still don't have any range issues, but if you're going to be doing long range, well, this might be a consideration not to get. And also, it's a bit of a smaller thing, which is the pro and a con for a lot of people. So we have, you can transport it really easy, you can take the gimbals apart, and it is a budget radio as well. I think it's like $60 or $70, depending on where you get it from. If that's all you've got, fantastic, I love it, and it's actually the radio that I take with me all the time. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky. I don't know what radios you use. These bad boys are right here. So we've got the Boxer, and then we have an upgraded version, which is the Boxer Crush. Now, this is about 180 bucks. I really like this radio. It has done a few range tests, and I've been flying this thing around. I love the colors, and most importantly, for the $180, probably the big one here that's a bit of a steal for a lot of people. If you're a pinching pilot, a bigger radio is going to be better suited to you. But also, this, it's got these AGO1 gimbals in here, which, excuse me, they're really good. They do feel better than some of the other gimbals out there, but by no means do you need to do that. Now, if you're the sort of pilot who wants a great bit of gear, you're happy to spend that little bit more, and it's not ridiculously expensive. I still think it is very, very good value considering what you're getting. These are full CNC gimbals. I think by themselves, they're about $100 or $90 or something like that. So to be able to get that in a radio like this, it's a big plus for me. It's not perfect. I do wish they'd change the antenna. Of course, you guys know I hate my arm switch on. I like my arm switch on this side, but I can't do that, so you definitely need to think about that. I like this little, I guess, material strap on the back, and I do wish the antenna had more like of a folding one like this. So this is the T15. You're going to be seeing my review on that soon. I've just been testing it a little bit. Wanted to put it through its paces a little bit more before I made the review. And this is about I think it's about $150, depending on where you get it from. You can get a bunch of colors. It is so similar to the Radio Master Crush, but the difference is these gimbals in here, this one is from Jumper. They're not quite as nice. So for the extra $30 is basically the difference between that. You've got a nice big color touch screen on here, although is that really going to be useful for a lot of people when they're flying? For me, I would be more happy to spend the extra $30 if I was going to choose this one, just on my impressions on using it and flying it around to get those good gimbals. Otherwise, I might be thinking of the Pocket. Now, you can program all these buttons. It does have some more 3-position switches and some things like that. And of course, this one has a plastic shell on the back, but I'd probably just change that. I do like the material part. But also, the antenna mount on here, I think, is better as well. So, and this can do a backpack feature as well if you need to use anything like that. So, overall, you've got 3 very competitive radios. You've got a really budget version. If you're going to be going Radio Master Pocket, nothing wrong with it. I love it. You've got the mid version, which offers quite a lot. It's doing some things a bit different to like the Radio Master Crush. Or if you want to go a little bit more, you can get something like this. And I mean, it's about $180 now for this top end one. I'm saying top end. There is more expensive radios out there, but this, perfect. I don't think you ever need anything more than this. The gimbals are probably the one part you might want to change if you really want to go high end, and to be able to get that in one package, it's definitely a huge plus. So yeah, there's a few things to consider, and there is no right or wrong radio to get. Get whatever works for you. They're 3 great options that I think no matter which one you had, you're going to have an awesome time. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea here. Let's see what people are saying. What's the best add-on for an ELRS on the Pocket? What do you mean by that, Great Scott? Like, what would I change? One part I do like about the Pocket, it's one of the few Radio Master ones that I can click my arm switch on the right. It's like a bit of a latching switch there, so I do like that. What distance do you consider long range? And that's a really good question. For me, if I'm flying long range, it's where if I crash, I don't want to have to walk and get that. It's going to be a pain to get it back. Like, I know people go a lot longer, but I feel like all the flying that I want to do is relatively close proximity. I'm not doing kilometers or anything like that. So if that is what you're doing, I would definitely not go the Pocket if you want to go long range. Also, too, it's a bit of a smaller radio, so you need to think about that. He's saying a module. Oh, what module would you get on the back? Well, I actually don't think you really need a module with one of these unless you want to maybe fly some of your older craft and you want to get like a multi-protocol radio, a multi-protocol module on the back. Then you can basically connect that and bind up to some old
Maybe you've got a heap of free sky drones. Maybe you've got like an old Tiny Hawk at home, like nice FPV. So yeah, so three really good radios that I don't think you're going to be upset no matter which one you get. Rocky is saying, excuse me, like I mentioned at the start, I'm not a little bit under the weather, so excuse, I can feel my voice starting to hang on. Oh, check. Can you guys hear this? Are we back? I don't know what my things are. What's going on here? Nice FPV is saying donate to the new mic fund, everybody. Thanks very much right there. Yeah, and FPV Tube is saying, read my lips. What happened to the sound? All right, we're back. So thank you very much. I need you guys to keep on top of that if that happens. I've got a little audio bar down here that I'm trying to check. And last week, that's why the audio sucked. I tried to use a different microphone. I just didn't set it up correctly. So when I tested it, I was talking to it like this, and it was like, yeah, this is working. But then when I moved away, or I was talking about a product and getting a bit animated, well, the sound dropped out. So yeah, sorry about that. Someone's saying he didn't hear the last minute. Basically, you don't want a sharp stick end. Sorry, you do want a sharp stick end on your radio because that stops your thumbs or fingers from slipping off. Otherwise, if they do slip off, you might crash your drone. I prefer to have a bit of a sharp, uncomfortable gimbal stick end than crash my drone any day. And also, too, a lot of people sometimes still talk about the Tango 2 with TBS, but I feel like that radio is kind of expensive now. TBS is a little bit, it's not as open, it's not open source, and it just costs more as well. So, yeah, I love Trappy, I love TBS, I love what he's done for the hobby, but it would be very hard to compete and for me to recommend a Tango 2 when you've got like something like the Pocket for $60 or something to just get into the hobby. All right, nice FPV. He's sending through some love as well. Thank you very much for that super chat all the way from New Zealand. And he's saying new mic fund. So okay, I don't know what microphone we can get for $5. I don't know if people will like that, but look, it's on the way. So thank you very much for sending that through right there. Alrighty, let's have a look here. So we're going to jump over, and one of my favorite parts is looking at our Reddit review. How do I open? Oh no, what have I done here? And this is where we're going to see some of the best and worst videos on Reddit. And I'm actually... Shout out to Stickman Steve. This is the one we're going to kick it off with, is this right here. Okay. Let's have a look. So this one, welcome to the Reddit review. Basically, is my mic still working? Check. Yes, it's all good. All right, these are the best videos in RC all week. We're going to kick it off with an absolute banger. Check this bad boy out. This one was actually sent to me by Stickman Steve. And I can put the sound on here. This one, luckily, it's an easy mistake that doesn't have dire consequences, but this is what happens when you solder capacitor in the wrong way. That's what I believe is happening right here. It's about to plug in. Boom. Like, I thought this was a joke when I first saw it. If you're watching this in slow motion, it can be very, very scary. So he's got his computer there. Everything looks like it's going to be ready to sync up. Ready to go. I feel heartbroken for that pilot because it looks like their craft is so close to flying, and here's like a little power check or something like that. Yeah, let's get it ready. So that capacitor, you can see the sparks coming out from underneath it. That would have, maybe we need a new change of underwear or something after that, because It's an easy mistake to do if you're not checking which way you're soldering your capacitor. So yeah, bit of a... I love how the cameraman though sort of he would have stopped recording and freaked out as well. So that one a little bit scary. The next one I want to show you guys is this bad boy. And this one was also sent to me by Stickman Steve, so shout out to him for sending me some really cool videos. If you've got some great videos as well, send them to me please. Let's have a look. It is... this one, and this was actually on the caddx webpage, actually. Let me get this on screen. Okay, check this out. So this, I think this might be using the new GT kit, the Walksnail kit as well, and this just looks like so much fun. It's 100 mile an hour. Oh no, it says Moonlight kit. Okay, my mistake. But 100 mile an hour, a wing just absolutely ripping it around. And this makes me want to get back into it. Also too, like the flight times and the efficiency. How good does this look? Does this not make you want to fly here and just covering that much ground, screaming it around through trees? A very, very smooth pilot.
That's it, an old unit,
I don't know where he is. Like
TVS, 800 millis.
I was watching on there.
I was shitting myself coming down like video and it was proper cracking up.
It was literally just going out on that, so I can imagine like it was probably a little bit better on the
under the trees, and it's a lot harder to fly when you different pilots fly public approach. You can't just pre-orientate yourself. You have to basically commit to a line. Tiny little gap there, being able to do this is just the same pilot.
Oh, we need to change.
Looks like they've got ELRS on the Moonlight kit, so yeah, great stuff.
Oh, right on your ass, man.
You need sort of two wings to be able to keep up.
Well, I
just keep going and going, and it is so fast. Right there. All right. The next video on the Reddit review. Let me open this up. I think this one might be a bit of a fail that we're about to see. Oh, the audio was very high. Sorry, I didn't even know that had audio on it. Okay, thank you. Gosh, is my sound working on my end? I don't even know. Okay, let me turn this on and off. Let me double check this. Check. Oh, where is that mic coming from? Check, 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 check. Okay. You guys still hear me? I will turn that down next time. Thank you very much. I should have been watching that desktop audio. Alright, I'm turning them right down now. I don't know what they were saying in that video. Alright, let's continue. I have adjusted those audios. Let's have a look. We have... oh, this one. This is great. This is from one of the best pilots we've got in the biz. One of the fastest pilots. And... okay, check this out. I love it. I love this video. In like, everybody makes mistakes, right? So this is from MCK, arguably one of the fastest pilots in the world. I'm going to wait up. I'm going to make sure I mute this because I believe there is some language, which is understandable. And now check this out. So his friend's ready to launch a drone, and oh. And then he's like, why did you spin that with some profanity? Because, I don't know, his friend must have been like, I thought this would look cool. MCK is about to rip this drone off and make a really cool little shot there. It looks amazing, like the low light, the LEDs. But then that last little twist at the last second means all his controls and things he was expected is completely upside down. And you can see he tries to recover and veer away from that, but... oh, the poor bloke. Luckily, he, I'm sure he has probably about 50 other drones almost spec'd up identically because he'd have a lot of sponsors and things like that. So might not have put him back too much, but still nobody wants to smash an awesome racing drone. But yeah, there happens to the best of us. Maybe you've got some friends that do that as well. Why did you spin that? What were you thinking would happen? Why did you flip that upside down? Okie dokie. The next one we've got is, oh, here we go. Free drones for everybody. So I don't know what city this is. It's probably, I'm going to guess, I don't know, somewhere in Asia here. But basically we have a drone show, and all these drones just start falling out of the sky. Now, unfortunately, people seem to be wanting to grab them, which is understandable when you don't know about the technology inside. These drones, I think, they're not going to fly by themselves. They're going to be almost useless to an everyday person who grabs them. They're still going to cut you up if they land on you, but I believe these would be made to be some of the cheapest drones possible that can show some nice, pretty LED lights. So the frame is probably really light. It's probably not durable at all. They're not made to fall out of the sky like this, but somebody's been doing their drone show for a little bit too long. And yeah, it looks like free drones for everybody, and there looks like there's hundreds up in the sky. I would say it would be very hard pressed to get these back. It looks like people start squabbling over them and wanting to grab them. That person's already got one in their hand. They're going to get another one. But yeah, so a bit of a bummer for that person. Okie dokie. Next we've got oh, okay. These are so good. Here we go. I do laugh at this one. I'm allowed to laugh at this one. Have you guys ever wanted to rescue a drone off a roof? Here we go. I'm not going to spoil anything. Here we go. Look, we've got. Looks like we've got two Phantoms cruising there. We've got a simple plan, right? We're just going to hook it underneath. We've got our contraption ready, so that's not stuck on the roof. Yes, we're getting out of here. Oh, you know what? No, we don't do that. Now, here's the secret. Does a third drone get that one out? Or do you just quit your losses and try and climb up there? So I don't know about that one. When is too many drones on the roof going to be the time? It's time to go get the ladder. I did think it was a pretty cool little video. Did make me chuckle. And I would love to hear what the people were saying in the background about that one. And I just like the drone sort of stops and the pilot will be like, just one of those, like a big sigh. Okie dokie. Here we have, oh, yep, good old fishing. Here we go. Yeah, some good old fishing with drones. This is like the perfect cast, real short little one. Someone's cruising the drone out. It looks like they wanted to catch the cast, or I'd be able to get some cool shots. And just that lady's reaction, like, yeah, really? Is that what happened? Because that's probably an expensive drone as well. And if you drop a drone in marine water, it's so much worse for your components. So there we go. There's a quick little one. Goodbye, drone. To the bottom of the ocean now. So maybe it was hooked on the sinker or the hook or something. You'd be able to reel that back in. I don't look too concerned. I'd probably be being much more upset. All right. Ooh. Classic. This one here. If you've got some to submit as well, definitely throw them in the comments down below. So here, this is one of the biggest drones in the world. An absolute monster, heaps of money. I don't know the name of it. I don't know if this is one of the DJI ones that are made for agriculture and those sorts of things. Okay, this one is a fail as well. This one's called, I've tried, there was an attempt to fly a drone. Here we go. It's about to start up. It's looking good. Here we go. And did you forget that there was a garbage truck coming across? So really stupid piloting, really stupid spotting. The truck is in no way in the wrong. But and I hope the truck driver was not injured. I don't think he would have been, but you never know. But yeah, this is some really dumb piloting that's going to be also a very, very expensive mistake. This one kind of was like very unexpected. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to crash into a tree or something like that, but it just gets absolutely hammered by that truck right there. Ouch. Alrighty, a couple more. Oh, yep, here we go. Here's what happens when you want to fly a drone over a crocodile. Here we go. I don't know what he was trying to do here, and I think serves them right. Never fly near wildlife or animals or even people. So yeah, the gator just took it out, and that's some free drones for the alligator, because they like FPV as well. Yes, munch munch. There we go. You're getting a little bit of that for dinner. I like it how he has a bit of a second chomp. And what do we got? What's this one? Oh, that's the crocodile one. What is this one? I really need to stop laughing because I've seen a lot of these. I vet them before I stream it out to YouTube. This one is great, and it's just called "Am I Doing This Right?" This was in FPV. It was posted 6 months ago. Another classic. So somebody's ready to get their drone going, and we all love a good hand launch, as inappropriate as that sounds. So he's got his drone ready to rock and roll, and ready to go. No, what's going on? Oh gosh, I don't know what he was expecting to happen. This is why we try to educate people as well. Like a drone like this, you need to let it take off itself. Like it's not going to it's probably not even calibrated at this stage, or I think that's a DJI. Let me know if you can tell the difference in the comments, or if you've ever had a mistake like that. What is the worst mistake or beginner newbie mistake you've ever done? But just the way he throws it, and why? Why not just hover it in front of you? Or if you just want to just chuck it lightly near you, then you don't have to walk off. Maybe if that's a cliff, or I don't know. Someone's saying launch it like a wing. And Render is saying UAVFutures, quick curiosity, get ELRS, bad RX on OSD. Link quality is high, RSSI is like 65, and the RSI dB is like -40. I would, if you're getting some range dropouts, have you tried it with another receiver? That's probably what I would do first. So see if you can fault find and find. It's all about troubleshooting. Find where the source of the problem is coming from. If you can replicate it with another receiver, then there's probably something going on with your radio or in the setup. Whereas if it changes after the receiver, then you can sort of narrow down where that issue is. Okay. Is this? Oh, yep. No, we've seen that one. And I think we have one more. I've got to remember what this one was. I don't know why this is. Oh, this is okay. This must be submitted from somebody else. Okay, great. All right. So we have. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. This is a great one. This is my first reaction to this. Okay. Thank you very much, whoever submitted this one. I was like, oh, I don't remember that being in here. Let's have a look. This one was found on TikTok. Here we go. When they say drone racing is fun. So if this was one of you who put this in and submitted this, thank you very much. All right, so we're opening this up. We've got our cool style DJI hat. There we go. We're going to get our connectors, all those sorts of things. We've got our FPV drone. Look at me go. I didn't do any studying. I've put it into acro mode straight away. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but that's like really irresponsible. So sorry about the profanity that came up on the screen right there. I'm going to push pause after it smashes into the window, but this is exactly why we get a bad rap as FPV pilots, because a lot of people who are not educated or don't have the skills do stupid things like that. So if that, I'm going to talk to the person who did that. That's just being dumb. You're putting people in danger. Don't do that. It's a really stupid thing to do, and hopefully you've learnt your lesson by dropping $1,000 on a broken drone. All right, moving on. One thing I do want to show you right here. Let's see, I'm going to check up with the chat as well. People are saying could be a power issue. Check your antennas. I live in a dense area. Maybe there's some interference. And Hang Time is saying throwing DJI potatoes into windows. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to close this down. Here's a little one. I get this quite a lot, actually. So this is how to share your Walksnail feed. So with the Goggles L from Walksnail, they're a great, cheap digital option. And a lot of people are asking, how can I sort of use them as a ride-along? So maybe you've got some more expensive goggles, like the Goggles X or something, and I'm going to go quickly through the process of how to do that. So what you'll need to do, you're going to need your quad, and look, I've got props off. So I'm going to plug this in, and I'm hoping I can do this without my VTX overheating on the bench. I'm going to move this out of the way. And this one, so, and I'm going to do it this way around because I don't know how much the camera is going to be able to pick up, and I'm going to be able to show you. And I've got these. So they're all booting up. All right, so I'm going to plug my drone in. And what's going to happen is, like a normal setup, we're going to get this connected to our goggles right here. So these are the Walksnail Goggle X, and then we're going to show you how we can use the share mode in them, which I think is a really important feature. Like, it is great to be able to have a pair of goggles. You can take people along on a ride along. It's just a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever taken somebody on a ride along, but let me know in the chat, like, what was their experience the first time they got to cruise around and do some FPV, or let me know what that was like. Okay, so in here, you can see, now I don't expect you to see the picture, but if I put my hand in front of the drone, where are we? See, you can see it's moving. It's obviously, this is synced up to this one. Now what I can do in here, I simply go in and I turn on broadcast mode, which is in the settings. Then I can go back out. So that I can put to the side now, pretend this is on my face, and then a friend comes along, or a relative or somebody, and you say, hey, what are you doing? Can I check that out? And this is one of my favorite features about why this is a great goggle to get. And then if you upgrade, because you can still use these things when you're out here. So at the moment you can see we're not getting anything. You're getting basically the reflection of some DIY FPV signs and those sorts of things, but there's nothing on the screen at the moment. I can go into here, and there is an option under the share setting. If I turn that on, and I'm hoping this works, there we go, you will get a little MAC address. If I click on that, and we back out now, so now you can see on here, we are also completely, we are seeing, there we go, you can see it a little bit better. So these goggles actually have a share function that you can use. I'm going to unplug that so the VTX doesn't overheat. And I can, and now you'll see both of these goggles obviously have nothing in the display. But yeah, it's a really good way where if you want to get a pair of goggles and you want to take some people on a ride-alongs, it's an amazing feature. Now, it was really easy with analog goggles, because analog in the past, it didn't need any special firmwares or anything like that. Like, everybody could tune into one frequency. But the way the digital works, this drone is talking to one set of goggles. So it's going to be talking to my goggles X, and then the way that this caddx system works is, this drone is still only talking to here, so it's only got to worry about getting information back to the pilot, but these goggles then will transmit that over using their share function to the spectator pair as well. So a really, really cool feature that I think it's like I said, it's all about getting people into the hobby. It's all about sharing the joy of FPV. And if you've ever flown with somebody else, you know, it's just, that's where it's at. Like, that's where the fun is. Let me put these to the side. I'm running out of space. So Johnny DRC is saying, yeah, I bring my EV800D, so that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, you can do that with analog. Being able to do it with digital now is like just that next level for me to be able to show people who are into the hobby. And Rain Squad is saying you can now just hand someone your phone and use the app to show someone. I don't know how well the performance of that goes. I think I've seen some testing of it, and it's not up to scratch. It's not quite as good, or nowhere near as good as what that's like. And Sean is saying, would be cool if you can use analog on the new Walksnail goggles. And here is my option of why I don't really mind that you can't at the moment. And look, feel free to disagree. Here is my professional opinion on, and let me know in the comments if you disagree. Of course, we all want the goggle that does everything. You know, we want all the options, all the features. But for the $199, the Walksnail Goggle L's, if you need them to do analog, the chances are you already have an analog set of goggles. So are you going to be paying that money for the difference just to be able to take these out and not carry your old Fat Sharks around? Like, is that 5 seconds of inconvenience, is that really the difference for you? For me, I'd be more than happy. Like, if I'm going to fly analog, I go and get my Sky Zones. Even though, look, I can use them on goggles like this. I can get some AV in and that sort of stuff. If I'm going to fly analog and I've got a set of analog goggles, like, I feel like it's just a much easier process. So that might be a bit of a red herring or something that people get upset about, or people think is an important issue. But if you need analog in, most pilots, not all, most pilots already have an analog set of goggles, because there's no way you'd build up a big entire fleet of analog stuff and then not actually have a way to look at that in the first place. And Johnny D is saying, that's why I purchased the Walksnail module. I can still use my SkyZone 030 OLED goggles. Yeah, and that's a great option too. Like, if you already had a set of goggles and you want to use the modules, I think it's good that Walksnail sort of offers all of those. I feel like Walksnail's kicking a lot of goals lately, or at least bringing a lot of products to market that people are finding a use for and they're not breaking the bank. All right, let's talk about this right here. And sorry, my voice is starting to disappear. We have, where is this? Down below. Okay. So let's talk DIY FPV. Let's talk about fixing it. And one of the most important parts is never flying alone. So you would have seen on these streams, we've talked about DIY FPV in the past. It's like a drone website. It is made by pilots, for pilots. We've spoken about the builder in the past and the catalog features, so you can find the exact part you want, and we can just, it's a really streamlined process to get people in the air. We've gone through what the builder is and like how we're going to tackle some of those problems and being able to actually wire things up and see some connections and help people get flying. But it is not all. Like DIY FPV for me is a really, it's just like everything FPV. Like so far we've just seen one little section of it, but there is so much more to it. And a huge part about FPV for me is just connecting with the community, being part of something. Like there is such a value, and like I've mentioned all through this stream, there is such a value to flying around with other pilots, to being able to meet up with other people, to just, whether that be even just posting online and having that sort of connection with somebody. It's really powerful. Like as human beings, I believe we are better when we're connected with each other and we're able to share our experiences, and that is going to be a major pillar of that DIY FPV website. So what I want to do here, let me jump over. Let's not share my password like I did a little bit ago. And make sure I put in the correct password. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this feature is, if I can get this on the screen, get some of these on the screen as well. So we really want to onboard pilots as best as we can. Like if you know anything about websites and building a community, the onboarding experience is really, really important. So what I have here, if I go to screen share, hopefully I can zoom in right here. So there is a reason why we're doing this, and this will make sense in just a little bit. How do I move this mouse around? It's gonna annoy me. So we're not sure which way we're going to do that, whether it's going to be all at once or in a bunch of different steps. But essentially, when you make an account with DIY FPV, this is not live now. I know a lot of you can make accounts right now, but you're going to have this feature in the future when we get closer to launch. This is what's going to be happening. This is in part of our planning phase. So you're going to be able to fill some things out. So you can put your name in, put your photos in, all that sort of stuff. We've got a little bit of personal information, and I 100% agree that not everybody wants to put in their personal information, and you don't have to. Like you can skip all that information if you want to. This is purely just for your benefit. We are not like using the data in any nefarious ways or anything like that. If you want to make an account, it is purely to be able to help you when I show this next feature in just a little bit. So what we've got right here, if we jump over here, we've got our social media accounts and those sorts of things. So maybe you're a YouTube creator or TikTok, blah, 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 blah. You've got all those sorts of parts. But here is the part I am really excited about, because it is all about connecting people. And we have this right here. So we're not sure the exact zoom in feature of what we want to do right here. I guess we're going to leave that up to the user on how much information they want to share. But the general idea, these are some of the design things we've sort of gone through, is like, it can be really hard to find other people to fly with, and it is always better when you're flying with friends than not with friends. I prefer flying, you know, when I'm around my mates. It's just something so fun about it, chasing them, having races, all those sorts of parts. However, if we look here, what we eventually are aiming to do is everybody in DIY FPV, you can see an entire macro map of pilots in the world, of places just in your area. Like I think there's going to be maybe postcodes or something like that, so you can put your postcode in, or I'm not entirely sure which specific route we're going to choose to be able to let you guys do this. But there will be a way where you can say, hey, this is my location, this is where I've been flying. You're going to be able to tag some flying spots, and if we zoom in, I think this is zoom in, just here, you'll be able to say, hey, here's a really cool flying spot over here. Here's where I've been going. I'm going to be going there on the weekend. You'll be able to see some other pilots in your area. A lot of times you don't know other people are around you that are into FPV, and you're just going to the park and cruising around. When I met Stickman Steve, he was at the park where I'd taken my kid to go and have a play. He was driving around with an RC car, and I was like, man, you're doing FPV there, and that is how we got talking. If I had a place like this where everything could get together, and we could have our pilots that could meet up, they could message each other, like, it is such an important part of being part of the community. So this is what we're bringing to DIY FPV. Yes, we're going to have builders. Yes, we're going to have amazing catalogs and the product searches and all that technical information. But it's something that I truly believe in is just connecting people, getting them flying with friends, getting them out, like just having it just feels good as a human to be able to connect with other pilots. If you want to. It's not forced on you or anything like that. You don't have to put this data in there. But if people want to, you're going to be able to see not only flying locations that people are going to be marking, you're going to be able to see other pilots around you. One feature we're thinking about implementing as well, like if you've got a store near you, like a store you can go to, hey, here's the location. You can go in and a store will be like, great, you know, you can go and say, I'd like to get my drone repaired. Where can I get this locally? You want to support mum and pop shops or little local hobby shops. The aim is to have all this on like a big map for people, a worldwide map where you can get together, you can be part of something social, as well as the other amazing features and the technical aspects of DIY FPV. You can have a real life community here. So this is something that I think will bring a lot of value to a lot of people out there. So I'm really excited about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. We've got here, this is coming in from Drunken Bullet. Stu, new mic fund. You are the OG of FPV. Man, $50. Brother, thank you. He's saying, keep being you, my dear dude. You deserve so much more. You and the knowledge you bring is priceless. Keep on getting on. Man, thank you. Like, that's more than like a YouTube video, excuse me, will make. So, man, let's, how can I give that a heart? Can we all do that in the chat just to say a bit of love to Drunken Bullet? Because that is absolutely massive, man. Thank you very much. I'm going to click this little love heart here. It's asking me to sign in. Oh no, what have I done? How do I go back? I can't see the chat anymore. Oh man, I have just lost my chat. This new streaming software. Please work. Hey, I got it back. Alright, so thank you very much, brother. I truly do appreciate that. That means a huge deal. Like, it's a lot. So without getting into financial details or anything like that, like, I just want to say thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here as well. And I'd love for you to be part of this DIY FPV. Like, I don't know what you think about it, but I think it's going to be an awfully good resource for people to get up and get flying. Hangtime FPV is saying, can I register on DIY FPV now? Yes, you absolutely can. The link's going to be in this if you want to go and join it. You cannot do the onboarding though. Like, you've seen the design phases of which way we want to onboard, whether that be all at once or all the features, but you can register. We're going to be sending out some emails, some early access users and things like that if you want to work around with the builder. But yeah, and then also too, I should say, this is like just the start part. There's also plans for this further down the line of like race integration. So maybe you want to fly with your local club or some local communities, some actual events that might be happening. Imagine seeing worldwide places of like, hey, here's this big race in America going on. Here's this. So there is plans to eventually as well link up with some other large communities online to integrate that, to have DIY FPV, everything in one place for you pilots, made by pilots, for you pilots, just make FPV a better experience. Drunken Bullet saying, hit that like button, peeps. That's all I ask. Thank you very much. And when will it start? So I guess we have to. We're working on like a tiered launch system. So we're going to launch not everything at once. We're going to have a couple of different features. We actually have like a whole roadmap. Maybe that's something I can go through in the future as well in another video. But we're going to launch like the catalog and builder. And that kind of needs to go with the troubleshooting and the help section as well. Then we've got dashboard, then we've got a social part. So we are prioritizing parts, I think, that need to have the most impact on just helping people get flying. But yeah, this is definitely on the way. So I think the DIY FPV is a great idea. If anyone can pull it off, you'll make it work. And it's with you guys as well. Like, we have so many positive comments. Every time I bring this up, I don't know, it's just... I feel nothing but positivity from you guys in the comments in the community, and I understand it's a big job. It might not be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that I want to make because I'm passionate about FPV. I was a teacher for 10 years. I love helping people, and drones is one of the best ways to not only improve people's lives and just have an awesome time, but I can also improve their knowledge about that stuff as well and improve their passion in the hobby, and it's everything for everybody. So I'm really, really excited about what DIY FPV is going to offer. Let's see. Rick is saying finding others will be killer. Yeah, it's going to be super cool. I can't wait to see the people who are flying around me and sending them messages and being like, hey, you want to meet up for a fly? I'm going to this fly spot on the weekend or on Saturday or something like that. And Sean is saying, will there be a HD0 troubleshooting tips on the website? Well, this is if the community makes that. Like, I'm not making all the content here. I'm not doing everything for everybody. This is by the community for the community. So if somebody's like, hey, here's some things on HD0. Here's how I solve those issues. We're going to give people the scaffolding and the resources to be able to do that. That information, if somebody creates it, will be there. So we definitely will have some fun little incentives and some things like that as well, and like some trust ratings and some really cool things. But yeah, I just can't wait ever to kick this off. Like, it's super exciting. All right, let's jump over right here, and I want to say last question of the day probably, but this is from Semi. Wash is saying, is HD0 system or Walksnail system good for freestyle? I think HD0 is great for racing. If you are into freestyle, I would go Walksnail. Like, I use Walksnail. Walksnail is my preferred system of choice, but if I was going to go racing, I would jump over to HD0. But yeah, for me, Stickman Steve, I like the Walksnail ecosystem. I like what it does. I'm having an awesome time with it. And also it depends, like, maybe if I was purely 5-inch freestyle, you might want to go a DJI 03 because their air units, they're a little bit bigger. You can't put those air units so well into like some tiny little craft like the Mobula 8 like you can with Walksnails. So if that doesn't interest you, then that's a whole different thing you need to weigh up. But for me, out of those two, HD0 or Walksnail, I would choose Walksnail. All right, I'm going to say, guys, that is it. I can feel my voice disappearing. I've drunk my cups of tea and also my paracetamol or Panadol and those sorts of things. So I've had them. I'm going to be signing out. I want to say thank you so much for everybody who has been here. If you are interested in DIY FPV, that link's down below. If you're a patron, and I want to say thank you very much, or you would like to sign up to be a patron, that link's going to be down there below as well. You can see all the information down there. It's been an absolute pleasure. You guys are awesome, and a big one too, if you are struggling with mental health, like I mentioned at the start, please go and talk to somebody. I know it can be really difficult, but it's something that's important to me. I'm going to put some links after this in the show as well. I think Beyond Blue is a great one, because I don't want people to have to suffer. I know what it's like. I've been there myself, and those things did help me. So I'm going to put those in below as well. But yeah, you guys are absolutely fantastic. We've got Dodgy FPV as well. Nice FPV is saying have some. I'm going to say he's going to say some medicine and go to bed. Other people saying good night, have a great weekend. It's my Monday, but yeah, I think it's definitely a bit of chill time. And I will see you guys tomorrow with, I think we're up to like 23, 24 videos daily in a row, which is insane. But we'll see. All right. Thanks, guys.